So yesterday at the auction, I picked up a bunch of old circuit breakers, old and new. You know, the boxes are rough on some of these, but some of these are new old stock. We got Siemens, we got Square D, stuff like that, Cutler hammer. So there's circuit breakers. We got some starters and some contactors, you know, big Siemens contactors, big 200 amp breakers, Siemens. I got one big Square D starter that I've listed already. I listed for 500 bucks. They are worth several thousand new. And also a bunch of old Genie circuit boards for overhead garage door openers, old IntelliCode openers, sensors, tons and tons of stuff. All OEM Genie brand. I've listed some of this already too. Just a bunch of replacement parts. Some of these are for a popular line called the accelerator motor. And apparently people need to replace these pretty often, and they will pay decent money. You know, some of these go for 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 150 bucks. You know, some of the accelerator ones are selling for closer to $2 from Genie. So, you know, I list them about 150 or whatever. So what we are getting ready to do here is test. Before I list any of these breakers or anything like that, I want to use the multimeter to test these for continuity, and we'll move on over to the workbench and I'll show you what I'm doing there. Got these circuit breakers. Before I list them on eBay, you know, I don't want to be selling bad product. You know, that leads to returns, poor reviews, all that. Plus, you know, the person that's buying this probably needs this for a project, which I'm assuming is time sensitive. So, you know, we'll just skip all that and hit it with our multimeter. So what we're looking for is continuity. That right there means infinite loop, open loop. So we are checking for whether or not a circuit is open or closed. So right now we have the breaker switched to off. We're going to take our probes and touch a probe. See, this is one pole, these are separate poles. So probe, and off. So what we want is, with the breaker in the off position, for it to stay reading as an infinite loop. I've got it set to beep if it senses continuity. So we're gonna turn the breaker on. So far, so good. And might I preface this by saying, I am not an electrician, and do not ever try to test a circuit breaker in the box hooked up to live power. I just feel like you wouldn't think that it would be necessary to say that, but I feel like I need to add a disclaimer. So now that we have the breaker flipped on, what we're looking for is a beep. When we touch, there we go. We have continuity there. We have continuity there. We have continuity there. So this 15 amp 3-pole breaker here is good. So it can go in the good pile. And all I'm gonna do is work my way through these circuit breakers, and some of these I'll lot up, like with like, things like that. Some of the higher end, more specialized ones I'll probably list separately, and I'll throw some comps up and show you guys, give you guys a ballpark idea of what these are going for. So at auctions, what I try to do is to take my blinders off. You know, I like to deal in a little bit of everything. I like vintage clothes. I like old vintage electronics, but mostly I like things that are profitable. So when I see something that someone may have overlooked as trash potentially, you know, I like to dig in a little bit and see if it has any market value, if it's selling through, if it's giving a high ROI. And my ROI, if anything sells on this, will be spectacular, because I think I paid for everything. It was a few different lots, but I didn't pay more than 15 or 20 bucks for everything, including the Square D starter and all that. So basically the first thing that sells will double my money. So yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks for tuning in.